From time to time, I like to gather a few of the most recent comments from the videos and then take a look and respond in another video. So right now I'm going to cover some of the major issues that we've all been impacted by, and then a couple of issues regarding the channel itself and the weird host of this channel. This is the weird host, Randy Kirk, and hit like and hit subscribe and hit notify and all that jazz. And thank you very much. Got another order this morning for a regular Cybertruck bottle opener. So maybe you'd like to add yourself to the list of those who will be shipped out on Monday. All the information is down below in the description about the costs. Even whether you buy 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, all the costs are now down below. And of course, the fact that you get a free one just by joining Patreon. And thank you to all the folks that have joined Patreon this month. You don't know how much I appreciate it. It's really, really important. And love to have some more producers down there joining me on Patreon. All right, let's take a look and start with a comment about our weird fearless leader. This is Mark -SI2HF. Okay. I don't know what that means. I could probably figure it out. Maybe it's like a license plate. Okay. And he says, Elon kills the stock every time. His autism does not allow for the understanding of others. Well, this, of course, is one of the big issues that was raised in the Walter Isaacson, biography on Elon Musk. Talked about it over and over and over again about how autistic folks have to develop and understand a way to understand, be more empathetic with others and understand their feelings. I think that Elon probably is better at it than he's given credit for, but I am a fanboy after all. But in the particular case of his comments after hours, these comments all the time, forget just on the earnings report. Of course, the earnings report is important and it can affect the stock maybe more than even when he tweets something or posts something on X. But all I can say is this: I like what he does when he talks in the reports after the earnings. It's the transparency, and it's the long-range thinking, and it's the fact that we get reality. We are not getting pablum created by somebody who's just trying to mollify people. And I think that's horrible. I don't want corporate speak. Every single time, if you look historically, the stock, you can, shoot, Larry Goldberg now goes to the bank on this stuff. He told us in the second quarter, he shorted on Friday or shorted on Tuesday and, took advantage on Thursday. Look, the stock is probably going to go down just like Apple, commonly, same thing back when, especially when Steve Jobs was there, the stock would go down the next day. But with what happens with Tesla is the stock goes down the next day and then watch it over the next 2 weeks. Now, the stock has continued this time to go down a little bit over the first 11 days, but it has not gone down as much as the NASDAQ or the S&P. So right now, Tesla is going down because of the overall macro of the stock market, not because of what Elon said or even because of the miss. And in this particular case, we had a bad miss. So don't forget that. We didn't just miss based on speculation. We missed lower than anybody's number was thinking it was going to be on the profits. All right. So then in a similar way, Commuter Brainchild 8132 says, oh, wait. Oh, okay. I guess this is where I want to go. Yeah. Okay. He says, I made it to 753 on the video this morning and still couldn't work out what it was you were trying to say. What's the point of this content? This was the video this morning. Maybe you watched it about Elon being dour in the Wall Street Journal doing an essay on the fact that he was dour. So all I can say, the more you know about a company, the better you are to make a wise decision. All right. The more you know about a company. Well, in this particular case, knowing about Tesla is really mostly about knowing about Elon Musk. So thus, anything new I can learn about Elon Musk And therefore, I wrote a book called The Elon Musk Method. And I've read everything there is about Elon Musk, watched every video, every interview he's ever done. And I can spend way more time than 99.9, maybe more time than anybody over the last 6 years studying Elon Musk. I'm not, maybe Walter Isaacson probably didn't even spend as much time as I have because he wasn't doing it prior to 2 years ago. So I have massive amounts of time studying Elon Musk. That's why I wrote a book about him 3 years ago, and then another book about the company last year, along with three other co-authors. Thank you very much. And I want to know what Elon is thinking, how he thinks, how that thinking is likely to affect the stock, not next week. Yes, if I'm a day trader, and I was a day trader for a while and made a tremendous amount of money as a day trader, but it was too hard on my gut. So now I'm long-term, like most of you. And if I'm going to want to be able to know whether to buy more or whether maybe to, take a little off the top from time to time, part of that is understanding Elon. If you're a day trader, you really want to understand Elon. Okay, so that is why I did the show this morning. I think it really got into what is driving Elon. Elon is driven, yes, by apocalypse, by his concerns about the future, whether that's the freeways in Los Angeles, whether that is people with damage, with neurological damage, whether that is asteroids. He's concerned about the future, and those concerns turn into action. Don't you wish you were doing as much action as Elon Musk to solve the issues that you see on a daily basis? All right, so next, I'm never going to get this one right. I am, and then dash AIN, I guess these are underscores, underscore AIN, underscore ANI, underscore Lee, underscore MI, underscore Lee again. Okay, that's it. All right. How about you do a show analyzing the risks to Tesla of having Twitter or X and Elon's opinions and financial obligations so closely adjacent to Tesla as a company? From his controversial opinions to the questionable value of X and the ethics of being the biggest influencer on his own influence company and collateralizing Tesla shares. Now there's a show. And then Mark AVELI SoCal, Mark Veli SoCal. Anyway, he says, correct. Twitter has been an attention drain from Elon. Boy, that's a lot of subjects. Elon is an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are notorious, real entrepreneurs that actually create things from scratch and actually create products and services and are designers and engineers of those products and services. I mean that in the broadest sense of an engineer, have very short attention spans. Lots of studies have been shown. I know this to be true of myself. When a company gets to 70% success, or 70% having been built in the minds of the entrepreneur, and now it's all about just execution, the entrepreneur gets bored and needs to move on to the next subject. Now, sometimes you can do that within the company, as Elon has done, but sometimes the mind goes in another direction and you cannot help yourself. Elon can't help himself. He is going to continue to go out and do these other things. So yes, sure, you can make an argument for all of the things that you just said about him being a big influencer on his own influence company, about collateralizing the shares, all the rest. The truth, the reality of the situation is Elon is all in on everything he does. All of his money is basic. He doesn't have any big houses anymore, big yachts, fancy jets, car collections. His money is all in on his companies, and Twitter X is a huge benefit. One of the biggest assets that Tesla has is X. Okay, and it will be an even bigger asset in the future. SpaceX is a huge asset for Tesla, massive asset. The correspondent things that the companies do between and among each other, because of the expertise that each of them has, is absolutely a superpower for Tesla. That's my opinion. There you go. And has X been an attention drain from Elon? his ability to do so many things it's just unbelievable. Like, I don't want to, I know it sounds like bragging sometimes. I'm an old man. I am 10 years past retirement. I am working 40 hours a week doing this show. I get up at 5:30 every morning. I work until 6 o'clock at night every night, 6 days a week. On Sunday, I start working again after I get home from church around 1 o'clock in the afternoon and quit at 6. And that's not just this company, not just the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel even includes other things, as you know, like Patreon and Cybertruck water bottle openers. But I also have an Amazon business where I sell the Cybertruck water bottle openers, or bottle openers, but I also sell other products on the Amazon channel. I have clients that I work for as a marketing consultant. So I do website design, trade show analysis, every kind of marketing that you can possibly think of, from product design, packaging design, all kinds of social media, the full gamut, everything that there is to do with everything except television. I don't do TV advertising, but I've done radio advertising, bus bench, trade show. Print ads. I used to own an advertising agency for 3 years, and I've had this company for 16 years. This I continue to do. All right. And I'm really old. So I think Elon can manage those few companies that he has and the things that need to be done. All right. William Fraser 673 says, "You sound foolish speaking about war." I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you, William. It's a great comment. Yeah, what do I know about war? Now, I have studied world history. I love world history. I've traveled the world. I study the news every single day, probably maybe more than you, William. I don't know. But I have been following the Israeli conflict from day one. Every kind of news analysis that I can get on it, in addition to watching or listening to Mario's Space on X for probably an hour, hour and a half average per day. And so just really, really interested in all of this. And I've got an opinion. And guess what? Some of the stuff is probably right. Some of the stuff is probably really stupid. So foolish. I'm sorry, you didn't say stupid. You said foolish. It's probably foolish. So is some of the stuff said by some of the leadership. Wouldn't you agree? Put in the comments below. Do you think that you've heard some foolish statements by world leaders with regard to war recently? Anyway, let's go on. Richard, F-A-H-R-N-E-Y, Farney, I think, but it's spelled interesting, F-A-H-R-N-E-Y, 7139. He says, "I would like your comments on Tesla becoming a parts supplier to not only the Detroit manufacturers, but the Euro car companies. Most people don't know that auto manufacturers purchase parts from other car manufacturers. We've seen this already with NACS, BP, with chargers. In the future, it could be FSD, motors, battery packs, and software." And then Lighthouse Unders 7242 says, "Despite the obvious benefits Tesla will of doing these kinds of things, Tesla will also slow themselves down if they sell their software to other car manufacturers, maintaining multiple versions, etc." Okay, big question again. I am a huge fan of them selling the software to other companies. I think there's a massive amount of money to be done doing that, as well as the pre-engineering that would be required. They can charge them lots of money to pre-engineer and lay out the car in such a way that the software all works. They can make a lot of money on the software going forward, whether that's the overall operating system, whether that is just FSD. I think that they can sell them licenses for other things, like, for instance, maybe battery development or something of that nature. So licenses. I am not as big a fan of them selling motors or actuators or the entire skateboard, as they call it, or I'm not sure any of that is enough margin to justify. Now, then you have to take into consideration the mission. So the mission is accelerating the future adoption of sustainable energy, and part of that is by getting rid of ICE cars and putting lots of EVs on the road. And we cannot get there just with Tesla. And Elon has said that repeatedly, and that'll come up another question in a minute. So if part of the mission can be accomplished by selling some of these things to other people, licensing things to other people, providing engineering and charging for it for some of these things, and then hopefully some downstream benefit. Maybe it's not all maybe it's not selling the motor. Maybe it's, again, you give them the design for the motor, they go out and make their own motor, and then you're getting a royalty for giving them that information. Anyway, I think all of this is good for the mission. I think there is probably profits to be made, but you can't compare it to the profits that are going to be made on, say, Optimus or Robotaxi or even Semi-Truck. I mean, making $100 billion a year, $200 billion a year, $300 billion a year in profit from some of these things that they're working on, even Dojo, energy storage. I mean, there's just massive amounts of money to be made. The amount of money they're going to make from licensing is going to be this comparatively. So I'm for it, for the mission. I'm for it because it will make money. And will it be a distraction? Hire more people. You can get as big. You can get big. It's not going to distract from Elon. Okay, Steve, STEVKUJ. So no E on that, Steve. So Stevkudge. Okay. He says, how can these illegal immigrants become very productive when they can likely be replaced by computers? They will even be a drag on our economy, much more than even as they are now. Not exactly, it wasn't a great, anyway. And then somebody says, illegal immigrants, this is, I didn't get the name. I'm so sorry. Illegal immigrants coming in by the millions are going to be productive doing what exactly? Sucking up all our resources? Yes, but what realistically can these unskilled, non-English speaking people do? All right. I could do an hour on this. I think nobody should come in illegally. Zero, none. There should be no illegal immigrants. I think that the U.S. government has an obligation to the citizenry to do whatever they can to stop illegal immigrants from coming into the country. And that is for a whole host of reasons, including you want to know who's coming into your country. It's a border. That's what it's for. Anyway, it's so obvious that I can't even, it's the one issue with regard to the Democrats besides abortion that I cannot understand the position at all of why you want to just encourage millions and millions of people to come in without documentation and not even know who they are. It's madness. It is, I can't figure it out. On the other hand, we need millions of immigrants because we're not making babies and because immigrants have been the core reason why the U.S. economy has grown faster than any other economy in the world other than China, but that's only for the last 15 years. It grows because why? The folks that typically come in, and even the ones now, even most of the illegals that are coming in now, these are folks that want to come here and they're willing to go to a lot of trouble to get here, just like your ancestors went to a lot of trouble to get here and they wanted to come here. They are usually way more enterprising. I had as you know, a manufacturing company for 29 years. Most of my employees were Spanish and most of them were recent arrivals, legal and illegal. Sometimes I didn't even know it. Later on, I found out, your green card was, I see. Anyway, I can tell you, enterprising, hardworking, lovely people, incredible people, became my friends. Okay. And then when I sold anyway, it's too long of a story. I'll go into it another day. All right. Yes, they will become productive. Yes, they will be a drain, just like your ancestors were. All right. Tom's son, 7173. Do you know the status of Tesla's Shanghai Megapack factory? In last April, it was said to start building the factory in third quarter of 2023, right? Thanks. Yeah, it's probably built. Nobody knows. I mean, nobody that I know knows. I haven't seen an article. I haven't seen a comment. I haven't seen a flyover, nothing. But remember, that's how it was up in California also. So it's probably already done or darn near done. If they started it in the third quarter, you'll be looking at maybe starting production in that factory in March, maybe April, May. And with regard to California, that factory was slowed down in the second phase because the equipment that they needed to lift up that finished container and put it on a truck for delivery, whoever they bought the first ones from couldn't make them fast enough. They had to get completely, set up to get that one particular part in order to make the expansion. That's according to Brad Ferguson. This is probably holding them up in Shanghai as well. I don't know that. That is pure speculation, but I'm believing that yes, Shanghai is well underway. You can put it in an existing building. You can put it in a tilt up that you can throw up in about 5 months, or maybe less in China. All right, that's all I know about it though. All right, this next one is Chopsticks 3, and that's with an X on the end. Tesla stock is broken and out of favor. Not hard to understand. I can't remember the title of the show that day. Tesla stock is hardly broken. You have a normal, kind of almost a normal situation here. It was at 100. It went to 300 and is now retraced that to 200 and change. That's a 50% retracement of a massive uptick of a tripling from 100 to 300. And now it's back down to 200 and change. It will go back, and it's going to depend this, and we'll talk about this in a minute. On this show, we take a look at everything, fundamentals, everything. Fundamentals, we do a little bit of technical looks, but we also look at the economic foundations, what's going on in the entire economy, the world economy, all those things. What's happening with the stock market in general, all those things impact the stock. Right now, Tesla is doing pretty much what you might expect, given the economy, given the macro on the stock exchange, all that stuff taken into consideration. It is not at all shocking where Tesla is right now. Remember, Tesla is still somewhere around the 6th largest market cap company in the world. Okay, there's no number 6. It's 20 years old. I keep forgetting how old it is. But it basically started making cars 16 years ago. And it's the 6th largest market cap company in the world. So I don't know, probably doing okay. Colin Keyser. I should probably learn to pronounce your last name there, Colin, because you're a regular contributor. 7353. He says, maybe the economic signals Elon sees are warnings of sector recessions, and the automobile sector is certainly headed for stormy years ahead. I don't think anybody anywhere is better prepared for that than Elon, or better prepared to profit from it. Good on him. You hit it out of the park. That's just adds on to the previous comment. The future is Elon's, because why? Oh, he has $26 billion in the bank, no debt. It's exactly where you want to be. He's got new factories that are being built like crazy. He has the highest ROIC of any company, return on invested credit, of any company other than Apple in the world. And it's probably higher than Apple's now, but there's too long to explain. But it takes a while before your ROIC can even be computed. And because they're growing so fast, it's impossible to really know what the ROIC is. Maybe 5 years from now, it'll be obvious that it's always been much higher even than Apple. When they go out and spend $2 billion on a factory, they get a tremendous amount of dollar profit out of that factory compared to anybody else. So yes, Colin, you are 100% right. Joseph Limeo 5909. He says, very little about Tesla. Your report is a market report, not a Tesla report. Your title is clickbait. Well, that was on my video regarding the BP $100 million purchase the other day. And the thumbnail said that Tesla got a huge order from an unexpected source. What in the world was clickbait about that? Joseph, I don't know what you even mean. But yes, my report is not a Tesla news show. Okay, except Saturday afternoons. Saturday afternoon, in a couple of the next video following this video will be the Tesla news show that I do on Saturday, because nobody else does it on Saturday. But even then, I don't get into the nitty-gritty. Okay, I don't get into a new wheel cover or something like that. I talk about the things that are going to affect the stock. So that's what my show is about. And as I just mentioned a minute ago, that means if you want to know how to play a stock, the more information you have, the better you are at the game. Every major huge stock guru will tell you information is key. Why do you think it's illegal to have insider information? Information gives you a huge advantage. So you can't have insider information, but you can sure study the heck out of the company, the kind of employees they have, the management. I can tell you years ago, my company, we tried to go out and raise capital from venture capitalists. And the venture capitalists said, hey, it looks like a pretty good little company, but you don't have a good enough management team. My partner had sold every major mass merchandiser in the country, along with my help. I have a Juris Doctorate and had been running companies for 15, 20 years at that point, but our management team wasn't strong enough. So yeah, you want to know the management team, you want to know the economics of what's going on around the company, what's happening in the auto industry, but what's happening in the energy business. It just goes on and on with Tesla. You got to know all these different businesses. So yes, Joseph, if that's what you want, then that's the channel you want to listen to. I think we have the broadest and most comprehensive look at Tesla and Tesla stock of anybody out there. If you think differently, then go listen to them or listen to both of us. I don't want to lose you. All right. Now here's another one. Nothing but clickbait. Oh, this is crude racing. Randy also said Tesla will be at 300 by the end of October. In the past, he also made other predictions that never materialized. If these forecasters were sincere, they'd give warnings to maybe set aside while Tesla drops by 20%. This comment came on my video about 2026 and my price target of 1,800. Well, it wasn't clickbait because I went on to clickbait is when you put up a headline and then your article, your study, your YouTube video, whatever, never addresses the issue or proves the admonition that has been made in the title or in the thumbnail. I'm afraid that if you listen to that video, I show you point by point how I get to my 1,800 price target, and I think it's fairly conservative. Yes, of course, no stock goes directly up. Amazon didn't go directly up. Facebook didn't go directly up. NVIDIA didn't go directly, Apple didn't go directly up. I don't care who you're talking. General Electric didn't go directly up. So I don't know so yes, you should always be looking for situations where the stocks can go up and down. I've made all that money a couple of years ago day trading was because the stock goes up and down a lot. And yes, I made my prediction earlier this year that it'd be at 300 by the end of October. And boy, I'm going to miss that one by, well, actually, I changed that already. I changed it to 275, and I'm going to miss that one too. But I wouldn't be surprised if it just a few more days. Anyway, and I've got some pretty good company on that. Okay, so I'm going to continue to read. I can't read all comments, but I read a lot of comments, and I respond to about half of the comments, at least to say thumbs up if I think it's a smart comment, or even if I don't agree, but I think it was a smart comment. There's just too much. I can't keep up with it anymore. However, I'm much more likely to comment or grab the comment for a future video if the comment is thoughtful and provides a clear argument. Here's a great example from Reagan Viking. The comment that did it for me was, we dug our grave with Cybertruck. So that blew his mind. He couldn't believe that Elon said that. It became a headline for days. He says Cybertruck was supposed to be the massive catalyst, but the comment made it seem like it was a drag and implies the possibility of complete failure. I wish Elon would do more measured innovation. Why can't he just make a simple to manufacture pickup? I don't care if it was styling, it's just like a normal truck. In fact, I kind of prefer that. Not everything needs to be a complete revolution. Keep it simple. Anyway, I'm hopeful we'll turn around and thankful for the chance to buy more Tesla stock at low prices. So that's I don't even need to comment on that. That's a great comment with lots of detail, lots of thoughtful analysis, lots of good arguments. And quite frankly, I didn't like that we dug our own grave with Cybertruck either. Those kind of things are so easy to just become headlines, but sometimes there's method in the madness, because Elon is a headline genius. He's always, every single day in the headlines, and that's good for his companies. You know the old saw, just make sure you spell my name right. Okay, this is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Please come back later. Probably it'll be now tomorrow, Sunday morning at the earliest, that we do the program with Bill Rayman, my friend and my mortgage lender, but also my client. Bill's got some stuff that's going to blow your mind about investing in homes. I'm not talking about buying a second home or third home, although it would apply. I'm just talking about when you buy and sell homes, what's the right time? Is this a great time to buy a home right now? I think you'll be shocked by his answer. And anyway, and then of course, CT, a Cybertruck bottle opener should be in your future. If you haven't bought one yet, buy a dozen, buy 10. All the information is down below. And then earlier this morning, as you may have noted from some of these comments, we had quite an interesting video that got a ton of comments this morning. I'll put a card right here. All right. And it has always been great talking to you.